Up next on U.S. Bank Business Watch, presented by the Cincinnati Business Courier, how alcohol sales will help to create more job opportunities in the state of Ohio. Bringing more of Italy to Norwood, we'll tell you about a local business expansion. And an unlikely hero when it comes to creating core change in Cincinnati's inner city. U.S. Bank Business Watch is next. Good morning. Welcome to U.S. Bank Business Watch. I'm Brian Patrick. On the Business Courier front page this week, the Courier sits down with Ohio's new jobs czar and gets details on a bold new vehicle for economic development with a budget of $2.5 billion. Jobs Ohio, led by Mark Kwame, is a private nonprofit that is charged with creating strategies to attract new companies to Ohio and build on industry segments that are already strong in the Buckeye State. The 9 segments that are being targeted are biohealth, energy, automotive, polymers, aerospace, financial services, food processing, information services and software, and consumer products. The $2.5 billion financing pool comes from 3 deals that are close to being finalized. One of the funding sources will be state liquor profits. Jobs Ohio will have the ability to take about $100 million a year in state liquor profits and make grants and loans to expanding companies. The rules for distributing this new funding pool are still being developed. The concept includes a network of partners, including the Cincinnati USA Regional Chamber. Job development was one topic covered by Governor John Kasich of Ohio in his State of the State address last week. He spoke at a top-ranked elementary school in Steubenville, telling Ohio legislators, cabinet members, and Supreme Court justices that raising taxes on businesses ultimately hurts the state.
If you keep raising taxes, you don't make it. Because companies look around and they're looking for the lowest cost to be able to make money. And if we continue to do it, we would just continue to hurt ourselves economically.
In addition, Kasich announced a plan to boost the state's broadband network speeds to 100 gigabytes per second, a move he also hopes will accelerate research and attract new jobs. Dunnhumby USA is putting down roots in downtown Cincinnati. Cincinnati's second largest market research firm with 515 employees is now finalizing plans to move its headquarters here to the corner of 5th and Race. The space is owned by the city of Cincinnati. It is now used as a public parking lot. The company is moving from its current headquarters on 3rd Street. The CEO says the design and location of its headquarters is vital to attract and retain top-notch talent.
We're right opposite another client of ours, Macy's, their retail establishment. To your point, 1 block away from Fountain Square. Great restaurants, great bars. 3CDC's doing everything they can to turn downtown around, and I think they're doing a splendid job.
So far, Dunnhumby USA has held almost a dozen focus group sessions with employees to get an idea of what they want in the new building. Design and construction candidates are currently being interviewed. Dunnhumby USA started in 2003 as a joint venture with Kroger. Now, a subsidiary of Dunnhumby USA is helping Cincinnati-based Kroger know if you, the consumer, think there's enough cheese on its frozen pizzas or its chocolate chip cookies are too crunchy. Kroger is using Dunnhumby subsidiary Buzz Agent to get real-time, intimate, honest feedback on its store brand products. Buzz Agent is a word-of-mouth marketing agency working on 5 campaigns for Kroger, the nation's largest traditional grocer. Facebook posts and Twitter tweets are just a few places where shoppers can give their review of Kroger products and services. Cincinnati City Councilman Charlie Winburn says he plans to introduce a program this month that would steer more city funds to local businesses. Known as a local preference program, it would allow city officials to give preferential treatment to certified small businesses and other companies located in the city of Cincinnati. And it would give local businesses another incentive to become certified SBEs, a process some firms find challenging. Cincinnati City Council will have the final say on this program. A new family business poll from the University of Cincinnati shows that local job creators are more optimistic than their national counterparts. The inaugural edition of the Greater Cincinnati Family Business Survey says 23% of local family firms plan to add jobs in the next 3 months. That compares to less than 5% nationally. Local firms were also more likely to forecast higher sales and earnings. But the news is not all rosy. 70% of local firms say the next quarter will not be a good time to expand. A local family business in Norwood is expanding. More than 3 years after Will DeLuca began his expansion project, Cafe Cornetti is finally ready to open for business. The Italian-style cafe is adjacent to Betta's Italian Oven on Montgomery Road. It will serve as a new front door for the Norwood restaurant, known for its wood-fired pizza.
Just bringing more of Italy to Norwood, showing people how a traditional Italian bar cafe is done in Italy. We're going to make our own gelato ice cream. We're going to be open early in the morning for coffee and pastries. We're going to have a full wine bar. We're going to have wine tastings.
Another Betta's on Mount Lookout Square, run by DeLuca's parents, closed 4 years ago. Cafe Cornetti is expected to open for business February 21st. Another new locally owned restaurant is now open in historic Over-the-Rhine's Gateway Quarter. Bakersfield OTR is on Vine Street, just north of 12th. It features tacos, tequila, and whiskey, some aging in barrels in the restaurant for the last 4 months. Bakersfield will be open 4 to midnight Monday through Thursday and until 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturday nights. Several Cincinnati leaders from all types of businesses and all walks of life are coming together this weekend to support a one-of-a-kind initiative called Core Change. The goal is to save Cincinnati's inner city by addressing problems related to poverty, violence, and disease. It is a monumental task that's being promoted with almost evangelical fervor by a somewhat unlikely leader, Dr. Victor Garcia. Garcia is a pediatric surgeon and founding director of trauma services at Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center. When he came here in 1991, Garcia started to notice a disturbing trend in his operating room.
What I witnessed then was this almost exponential increase in the number of children coming in with gunshot wounds to our children's hospital. And what was particularly disturbing was the decreasing age, so that at one point, at the height of this increase, the average age of a child coming in with a gunshot wound was 12.9 years. I mean, you just simply can't be a human being and not have that disturb you.
When Garcia lost a 14-year-old child in his operating room, he said he made a promise that the child wouldn't die in vain. He turned his attention to helping transform blighted neighborhoods and create opportunities for at-risk kids. And some of the region's most prominent business leaders are supporting Garcia's efforts. They're helping to fund a 3-day summit this coming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, aimed at designing a strategy to fix what's broken with the city's core. Garcia and sponsors, including Cincinnati Children's, Xavier University, the Health Foundation of Greater Cincinnati, the Hale Foundation, and the Greater Cincinnati Foundation, among others, hope to pack the Millennium Hotel downtown with everyone from university professors, doctors and judges, to single mothers, gang members, and the chronically unemployed young men who populate the inner city and know firsthand. For more on the Core Change Summit, U.S. Bank Business Watch's Kelly Leon is joined by Liz Bloom, director of the Community Building Institute at Xavier University. Kelly?
Thanks, Brian. Liz, thanks for being here. You know, I read about this. This is ambitious. This is overwhelming to me. Tell me how this is going to work, the 3-day summit, and how you will know that you've been successful.
It's a big challenge. I think to take a significant focused look at urban neighborhoods in Cincinnati is something that we've needed to do for a long time. I think partly we'll be successful when we get the kinds of people in the room, very different kinds of people in the room, to talk to each other. Part of this is about creating relationships that can move change and move change forward. I think implementation, really the summit is the beginning, right? Not the end. The summit is the beginning, I hope, of a new conversation between folks in urban core and the kind of business and philanthropic support, people who care about the urban core and who want to do something different so that we get better, different outcomes.
So what are those next steps? What will be the practical next steps that come out of this summit?
Certainly there are going to be people who are going to form work teams and start to implement ideas that came out of the summit. This is not about creating something new. We've got some wonderful regional initiatives like Agenda 360 and Strive and the Workforce Network. We hope to inform that work, help them do their work in a focused way in the urban core. I think it's likely that there are lots of wonderful things already happening in city neighborhoods that you don't really realize because you hear the bad. There's already good things happening. We want to give those good things some light and some air and some support and help them continue to do what they're doing. I think it's also likely that we're going to come up with ideas that we don't know about yet, something new, and we'll have to figure out how to implement in those areas.
And this is free, open to the public. Who would you like to see there? We kind of listed some of the groups, but who do you want to attend this? Who should attend?
I hope that anybody who cares about these beautiful, wonderful city neighborhoods comes and brings their voice to the table. It is free. It's open to the public. Please register. We'd love to see you.
And we have a graphic if you want more information where you can get it. Again, the dates are February 17th to 19th, so this weekend, the Millennium Hotel. Visit corechangecincy.org or 513-745-3896 for more information. And we wish you luck with this, and we'd like to have you back on the show when this is over just to talk about the outcomes and the next steps.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much, Liz. Brian, back to you.
Thanks, Kelly and Liz. A very worthwhile effort. Up next on U.S. Bank Business Watch, the battle rages on between the city and Duke Energy over the streetcar project. We'll have the latest. Did you catch the Frischs big boy in a Super Bowl ad? And our partnership with the Health Foundation of Greater Cincinnati begins this week. We're answering questions to help small businesses prepare for the Affordable Health Care Act. This week's question to the Health Foundation's Kate Keller. Kate, what resources are available to help small companies start a wellness program for their employees?
There are new opportunities inside the Affordable Care Act for small businesses who want to start wellness programs. There's funding available for small businesses who don't currently have a program to apply for funding to start them. Those applications are actually due to the CDC by February 24th. For more information about how to apply for this grant, please go to reform.healthfoundation.org.
Some news you might have missed if you're not reading the Business Courier online every day. The Cincinnati Streetcar plan has a new $13 million hole in its budget. Duke Energy has informed the city of Cincinnati it will not bear any of the $18.7 million needed to relocate Duke's utilities to make the project work. The city only has $6 million budgeted for the Duke work. In its response to the city, Duke says it supports the city's effort to build a streetcar, but the price tag to the utility company is too high. Stay tuned as the saga continues. Well, we now know how many jobs will be lost when the Liz Claiborne distribution facility pulls out of Westchester later this year. Liz Claiborne has filed termination notices for 365 workers. The fashion company says the cuts will be made over the next several months in phases. Its 900,000 square foot distribution center will shut down by September 1st. Trustees for the Cincinnati Museum Center at Union Terminal are asking if they can put a levy on the November ballot. The levy would reportedly generate about $141 million to be used for building repairs. Last year, the museum made the same request but retracted it after failing to gain support from Hamilton County commissioners. The final decision, again, is ultimately up to the commissioners. If you paid close attention to the Super Bowl car commercials, you noticed a local icon. The Frischs big boy had a small role. The image was part of this Chevy truck commercial. Cincinnati-based Frischs was aware that the big boy statue would be featured in the spot, but says it did not broker the product placement deal that exposed its mascot to more than 100 million NFL viewers. And with the Super Bowl now behind us, Tuesday and Super Tuesday, rather, the election has become the game to watch now. In this morning's U.S. Bank Economic 360, U.S. Bank investment analyst Jim Russell joins us with a look at the stock market and the election. Jim, from a historical perspective, as we look back in history, how has the market fared under Democratic and Republican administrations?
Brian, good morning. I think that's a question on everybody's mind right now, and certainly the game to watch for the year ahead, as you'd mentioned. We have a graphic here that really gets to the facts. Now, there's a little bit of a perception that under a Republican administration, which may be a little bit more low tax, maybe a little bit more pro-business in its orientation, that a Republican administration would be better for the markets. The facts don't really bear that out. In fact, you can see here on the graphic that under a Democratic administration, on average, under a Democratic president, 85% type of appreciation over that administration for the markets, and certainly in the mid-20% range for the Republicans. So we have quite a bit of disparity. Now, one thing I would also bring to the viewers' attention is that even if you extract FDR's administration, which had colossal stock market gains, still the Democrats come out ahead in this particular metric. As an investment analyst, why do you think the markets do so well under the Democratic administrations over the years? You know, we've taken a hard look at that, Brian, and really once you strip out a lot of the data here and take a hard look, it's really the interaction of the president with Congress over that administration that really matters. Sometimes that, of course, road is a little bit bumpy, sometimes a little bit more smooth. That's the key dynamic, as opposed to really Democratic or Republican type of administration. Let's turn to the idea of the incumbent. We have an incumbent Democrat running for re-election. Right. How does the market usually react to an incumbent winning an election? It's an interesting question. We have a second graphic here that I think really points to, again, some of the facts. You can see some of the administrations really over the last several cycles and how the market reacts 1 year after the incumbent is re-elected. And you can see on average, we get a 0.4% type of return, fairly modest, I think you would agree. So I think what that tells us is that, number one, the markets have anticipated the popularity of the incumbent being re-elected, and secondly, usually in the first year of a presidential cycle, very difficult and frankly unpopular decisions are often made, and again, the markets may not like that as much. So I think the combination of those two results in a modest market return. All right, thanks, Jim. We'll follow this over the election here. Yes, sir. All right, still to come on U.S. Bank Business Watch, how to make your brand stand out, whether you're a corporate giant or a sole proprietor. And if your company had a great 2011, you should participate in our Fast 55 program. It's an annual publication and event recognizing the fastest growing private companies in Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky. For information, you can visit our website or call Lisa Mullenkamp at 513-337-9467. Finalists will be recognized June 9th. And congratulations to Melanie Chavez, another of our 40 Under 40 honorees. In this morning's Business Insight, whether you're Procter & Gamble or a one-person startup, building a brand is vital to building your business. The best brands stand for something that is clear, concise, and compelling. And everything they do consistently reinforces it. So if your business is a brand, what does it stand for? The Business Courier has teamed up with Todd Sebastian, the leader of Link Training and Consulting, along with Claudia Sandman, the leader of Oomph Design, to put together a workshop that will help you build your brand. It's called Brand New Thoughts, How to Build a Better Brand for Your Business. Todd is a former P&G brand manager and author of the best-selling book, Tell Your Clients Where to Go, a practical guide to providing passionate client leadership. He joins Business Courier publisher Jamie Smith with a preview.
Todd, thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Just real quick, in your own words, what is brand? What's branding all about?
Well, a brand in one simple definition is a promise. It's a promise of something unique and relevant, whether that's tangible or intangible, that your customers can expect to derive when they engage in your business. And what's really powerful about branding is that promise should transcend what your business sells. And that's how you can really help distinguish your business from other competitors. Perfect example, Google sells information. You and I buy instant access to the world. That's a promise that really transcends what that business sells and creates something really compelling and unique for your customers to engage in.
So obviously a brand can be positive. Can a negative brand really hurt a company?
Absolutely, a negative brand can hurt a company because it's a promise of something. If it's a promise of something that you don't want or that's detrimental, then absolutely. And that's why you see a lot of companies rebranding themselves. For instance, Weight Watchers in the 80s was all about dieting. That became a negative thing in the 90s when it was all about eating healthy, and Healthy Choice took over. So they had to rebrand themselves to promise something different, given the changing dynamics of the marketplace.
Great. The program you're going to have, tell me why it's important for companies to come and who exactly should come to this.
Well, anybody who runs a business of any sort and wants to understand the difference between a brand and a business strategy and how a brand strategy can take them to the next level, those are the people that should come, because they're going to get brand new thoughts, hence the name of the workshop, about how to think about their business differently and how to make sure they're positioned with a promise that will stand out versus competition.
Okay, good. And I understand there's going to be one lucky nonprofit that's going to win the opportunity to work on their brand with you?
There is. You know, we've been blessed with a lot of success in the local marketplace, and we really want to be able to give back, and who better to give back to than nonprofits who have a great business model and are doing something really important, but they may not understand the power of a brand. So we're going to allow one nonprofit to win free brand strategy consultation and free graphic design work to really bring their brands to the next level.
Oh, that's great. Speaking of helping out, I know your book, Tell Your Clients Where to Go.
Yes.
I believe the benefits of all of this go to the Make-A-Wish Foundation?
That's correct. That's correct. Again, it's just one more way to give back and to be a good corporate citizen.
Good, and I guess that's available on Amazon?
Amazon.com, yes.
It's a great book. I've read through it. One more thing on the question I had on brand is social media. Is that changing the way you brand your company a lot?
It absolutely is, because it's allowing customers and other people to shape your brand promise as well too, because it's such an open forum for communication. So it can be really helpful, but you have to be really careful about how you use it and how you control it so that you can have some control over what your brand promise is.
You have to be careful with that invitation to let them in.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Well, I hope people come to the program. It sounds like a great one, and thank you for being on the show today. Back to you, Brian.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jamie and Todd. Again, the brand new thoughts, how to build a better brand for your business workshop, is this Thursday, February 16th from 7:30 to 11 a.m. at Rookwood Tower on Edwards Road in Norwood. The cost is $99. For information, you can contact Amy Goodwin at 513-337-9468 or agoodwin@bizjournals.com. Thanks so much for joining us this morning for U.S. Bank Business Watch. We'll be back next Sunday and every Sunday morning at 8:30 right here on Local 12. For more business news all week long, visit the Business Courier online and sign up for our daily emails. Our address is cincinnatibusinesscourier.com. To watch this program online, go to our homepage, scroll down about 1/3 of the way, and click on the Business Watch under the title Inside the Business Courier. That link is posted by Monday afternoon. I'm Brian Patrick. Have a great Sunday and a good week.